whenever you're telling a story for any arena, one of the things you want to address early on is, what is the setup of the story? How are we introduced to the hero of the story, seeing them in their everyday life before anything extraordinary happens and before they formulate the goal or the desire that's going to drive the story forward and lead them to the climax. So when I coach anyone, that's one of the things we focus on is, what is this everyday life? But occasionally you want to break the rule about opening that way. I recently had a client and she was telling a story about how she acquired her love of music, and she talked about being in a boarding school and it was very restrictive. It was all girls. They kept locks on the doors. They needed permission to go out after dinner time or something like that. But there was this concert she desperately wanted to see. And so she decided, no matter how much trouble she'd get in, she would sneak down into the basement, out a back door that was the only one that wasn't locked at night, and she would go off to see the concert. And so I said to her, okay, instead of opening by talking about the restrictive thing and the boarding school and her parents' attitudes or anything about that, open with a crisis that you faced when you wanted to make that escape. So open with the scene of you very quietly sneaking out the door, worried you'd make noise, worried about getting expelled or causing problems, and then you walk away. Because if you open there, then you're opening at a moment of great emotion because there's a lot of conflict. And then from there, you can say in your story or in your screenplay or whatever, you flash back and show the everyday life you were living at the boarding school before you found out about this concert that was going to change your life. So try using that crisis opening when you're developing one of your upcoming stories and see if there's a moment you can pique the audience's or the reader's interest and emotion with before you go forward with the story and before you go on to the everyday life.